Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth and final edition of Road to Champaign here in TennisONE. All 8 teams going to Champaign on the men's and women's side, so we're really looking forward to that. The Super Regionals concluded in TennisONE App this past weekend. So we are joined, as always, by my college tennis insider, Midwest USPTA Hall of Fame inductee, 8-time Coach of the Year, has coached 17 NCAA individual champion participants, including, and on the broadcast side, has been an analyst for college tennis since 2014, including last year's NCAA championships. Mark, welcome back. Great to have you, as always.
Madison, always happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
And we are joined by a very special guest, head coach of the Texas A&M women's team. We have Mark Weaver joining us. Coach Weaver, welcome into TennisONE.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for joining us, and I'll let Mark take it from here. Take it away, Mark.
Oh, Coach Weaver, it's really great to have you on tonight. The idea was to talk a little bit both with you, excuse me, and possibly if he jumps on with us later, Coach Roditi as well, talk about a couple of things. I'll start with you on a couple of questions about your program, and we'll see if Dave ends up joining us. My first question about you relative to Texas A&M is everyone has been talking about this amazing season that you've had. And clearly with only one blemish on the entire record, it's quite the portfolio. But some have said, well, maybe he undersold how good his team really was and should have put a couple more of the top 5 on the schedule. Do you think that in hindsight, you should have had a couple more top 5 on the schedule, or you feel good about what you guys did to get yourself to this point?
Yeah, I'm pleased at how it all turned out. Back when we did the schedule, which is a good while back, we were very unsure about our team. We had 4 freshmen coming in, and that was back before we signed Carson Brandstein. So, yeah, if I could go back in time, I probably would have scheduled a couple little tougher non-conference matches there. But, at the end of the day, we're very pleased with how the season went. And, we were, I believe, 33-1, and we kind of swept the conference. And I'm very pleased with the draw, how it all turned out. So I've got truly no regrets. I guess I needed the crystal ball there, but we're just fine with how it all played out.
Okay, well, obviously, there's no complaints, no problems. You're clearly in position here to make a run for the title. It's exciting to be back there. It's a place where clearly you and Coach Joffe, who's already now got an NCAA title, almost got it done against Stanford back in 2013. So now coming back to Champaign, that's got to be some fond memories for you. And what I also wanted to hear a little bit from you about was the actual support team. Coach Denton and obviously that whole group has been supportive and doing a great job with the synergy between the men's and women's program. And then obviously Coach Szabo. I've just been hearing a lot of positives about the entire village that it's taken to get to this point. So how would you characterize or speak to the actual total team effort that's gotten this team at this point in such a position?
Yeah, this has been a lot of work in the making here. So, going back to the 2013 year with my good friend Howard Joffe, we had some great memories there. We missed the national championship match against Stanford by just a hair. We lost that 4-3. I remember we were up 6-0, 3-0 at 1 against Nicole Gibbs, and we were up 2-0 in the third set there against Christiane in the deciding match there. And, that was an amazing ride we had, and that match still keeps me up at night sometimes. So hopefully when we get back there this year, maybe we can finish the story there. But we've our program's just really just been headed upwards and upwards for about the last 10 years or so. And our men's coaches, Coach Denton, he's done a great job there. And we're both very supportive of each other's programs. When they do well, it helps us, and when we do well, it helps them. So we're just getting a tremendous amount of support from the community. Our stands were packed. I think we had probably close to 1,000 in the second round match against Baylor, and I think we had well over 1,000 in the match against Vanderbilt the other day. And that was in near 100-degree temperature. Graduation was there. The students were out, and we had a baseball game at the exact same time at 2 o'clock. So the crowd was rocking, and it's what college tennis was truly about.
Looks like we have a little bit of a question here. Someone's asked, in your opinion, this year, what was the toughest win for you? Which one was the hardest one to get?
Yeah, we had a lot of good wins there. We had a really, really tough match there against Florida at home. In a lot of ways, if I could probably pick maybe three key matches for our season, that I think that home match early, that was our opening SEC weekend, and we had to play a very good Florida team who I think is a bit underrated this year. And we won a very close 5-2 match. The last two matches went in the three sets there. And I would say that was probably the toughest one, perhaps. And and we actually had another 4-3 match with them at Florida in the semifinals of the conference tournament. So in a lot of ways, I'd probably have to pick those two matches to say maybe the closest and the toughest there. And, Florida had a very good year. And, they lost a few close matches early at the national indoors. If they win those, they're probably a top 5, top 10 team this year.
Outstanding. And just in general, since you have this conference, SEC obviously has been reputed to be full of top 10 teams. This year may be arguably a little bit down relative to that benchmark or whatever, if you will. But I guess just in general, because Texas's men's team was able to get it done with Bruce, and now Texas's women's team was able to get it done with Jaffe, do you feel like that the other Texas schools in the state, like TCU and like A&M, are you guys like the Rodney Dangerfield programs? Are people not giving you enough respect until you guys finally get over the final benchmark of actually putting the title down? Do you feel like there's enough respect for the job that you do and the caliber of the product that you've been there for 23 years now? And I don't know if you've gotten enough credit. To my opinion, I think you deserve more, but I want to know how you feel about that.
Yeah, like you said, I've been there 23 years now. It's my seventh season now as the head coach. And we've done pretty consistently well. We've made 3 straight 16s, and we have actually 4 out of the last 5 years. So, we need to, I think winning the match the other day against Vanderbilt was surpassing that Sweet 16 stigma and getting to the Elite Eight. I think that really kind of sets us to another level. And, if we can make a good run here in these Ncaa tournament here, it would be nice to kind of get to that kind of extra mile mark there, you could say, to be one of the elite programs in the nation. But it's been a great ride this season. I think we've got the most talent we've had in probably since that 2013 team, where we can truly go into this tournament and truly believe that we can beat anyone there.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess the last question I'll ask, and I'll let you go, I know you're about to catch a plane, and we appreciate you jumping on, is in terms of being a legacy, because we talked about this a little bit last week. We had Adam Stein, not Adam Stein, but we had Aliki Sabanos, and we also had last week Paul Goldstein. So we had 2 head coaches last week that were legacy. They played at that program, and then now they're trying to obviously make history for those programs. And this week, Coach Roditi and you both, the guys that we've been targeting, are sort of in that same situation. You guys suited up and wore those same shirts, and now you're wearing them from a coach standpoint. Is it a pride thing? Is there more pressure on you to maybe do it for the school? Just what does it feel like every day as you walk to work and having that support and being part of an institution for so long?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Aggie pride there. And like you said, I played for A&M in the early 90s. My assistant coach played there about 10 years back for Coach Denton. And even our volunteer coach, Bjorn Thompson, played for Coach Denton there just a few years back. So it's pretty special to have all 3 coaches, Texas A&M graduates. And I think that's really brought along a lot of the excitement in the community. So, we played the other day, and I was bragging on our big crowd, and I was a little worried if the crowd was going to make it out, because like I said, we had 100-degree weather. It was graduation, kids were out of school, and baseball game, and they just kept filing in, kept filing in, kept filing in, and it truly just gave me chills up my spine just seeing the loaded stadium there and just the rowdy crowd there. And yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, and definitely a little extra sense of pride when it's your alma mater you're out there coaching for.
That's outstanding. Well, I know you got to jump on a plane, so we're going to let you go and get your boarding pass out so you can get yourself over to Champaign. So clearly, the weather in Champaign is not 100 degrees. It'll be a little bit nicer there. So hopefully you can enjoy a drop in temperature, but obviously still keep that performance up. And best of luck to the Aggies in your pursuit of trying to get that first title over there for College Station.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you having me on. We'll see you in Illinois.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, Coach Weaver. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in Champaign. We can't wait.
Sounds good. We'll see you soon.
All right. Well, I think that answered the question. He is about to catch the plane, so they're leaving tonight for Champaign. So we're really looking forward to seeing that Texas A&M team down there. And we're just going to go ahead and get right into recapping the
Well, it
Super
looks like
Regionals.
David joined us.
Oh, excellent. So now we will welcome head coach of TCU men's tennis, David Roditi. David, welcome into the TennisONE App. We are so happy to have you. Oh, if you want to unmute yourself in the lower left. There we go.
Okay, are you there? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
So sorry, it only took my 6-year-old about 2 minutes in the room to get hurt. So he's fine, but we had to do a little whatever icing and dealing with it. So I apologize.
Don't even worry. We're happy to have you, Mark. Go ahead, take it away.
David, great to see you. I don't even recognize you right now, bro. I haven't seen your forehead in years. So without the cowboy hat on, yeah, you're actually kind of a cute guy. I can see why you got married back in the day. There's the David I know right there. I don't know this guy without the hat.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But I do have a couple of quick questions for you, and then I'll let you get back to, obviously, the sick bay over there. That's not fun to have a sick kid. So the first question is, and I asked this to Coach Weaver as well, do you feel like because Bruce Berg got it done and Joffe got it done, so the Longhorns are getting it done in terms of bringing the titles to the state, do you feel like A&M and TCU are like the Rodney Dangerfields out here where you're kicking butt, making semis, top 10 7 times, been in the semis, you've been knocking on the door, you've done a heck of a job, you got Cameron Norrie, top 15 in the world ATP. Are you still a Rodney Dangerfield? Are people still at the number 1 seed in this tournament? People are writing you off. Do you feel like you're not getting enough respect?
Well, I didn't know that we've been written off, so I guess I know now. I don't, I haven't, I guess, kept up with what whoever is saying that's fine. It does help. I do think to see, Coach Sanders' team, Bruce leading there at the end, Bruce winning that title, and then Joffe, and having people around us, people, teams in the Big 12 winning the national championship. It does help. It does help. Just like I'm sure someone like Norrie watching his buddy Tommy Paul or one of those guys making it, or vice versa, it does help. It does help. So I do know this, though. We still have a chance to win it. We still have a chance to maybe make it to the Final Four. We have a better chance now than we did a few days ago. So we have a one eighth of a chance to win it. So that's all we need to know, and we'll battle Kentucky and see what happens.
Absolutely. And from a developmental standpoint, you think that from your time at the USTA back in the day, working with the younger 14 and unders and having responsibility of molding and making players better, you think that early developmental coaching period that you had has helped you now improve the players that you have on your team? You feel like that guys are coming to your program because they actually feel that there's a developmental piece that you're providing at your place?
Definitely. I mean, you're at the USA we talk a lot about being a teacher or a coach or both, and I believe that I've learned to be both. A teacher of the game, a teacher, have the eye for those little technical adjustments, and then also being a coach. It's very different. So I do feel like that education that I received, not just working with the 14-year-olds, but for about the last 2 or 3 years, I was in charge of 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Little Riley McQuaid, who played for A&M, who graduated last year, she was in our little 12 and under group there at the USTA. So, yeah, absolutely. You know that it's helped my eye. It helps me see things a little bit quicker than if I hadn't worked with the juniors at that age. It's very different, and it's definitely an advantage.
And I have a question for you. Do you feel that in terms of winning a title, like here, getting to this last bit, getting over the hurdle, do you feel like it's just the athletes performing in the moment, or do you feel like that there is some scheming and X's and O's and things that go on to actually make the difference? What do you think in terms of coaching and scheming and lineups versus just pressure performance? How do you weigh those two in terms of what do you think it's going to take to get over the hump?
Yeah, I think it takes, you forgot luck. That's part of that equation. You got to be healthy and lucky to win it all, I believe. At the end of the day, it's the guys. It's the guys. As much as we feel responsible or we feel like we can make a big difference, I think at the end of the day, it's the guys being out there, being prepared to battle and being willing to suffer out there and go through all the pains and suffering that you have to go through to be able to win a tough match, physical, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, all of that. You've seen it a million times. So they're the ones out there. They're the ones doing it. There's a little bit of the coaching and preparing them and helping them maybe know what to expect, certain matches, a little bit of the lineup maybe, but not as much as the players.
Gotcha. Well, I only have one last question for you, and it's how many cowboy hats did you bring to this one? And did you bring the winning hat from National Indoors? So, how many hats did actually get on the plane to go to Champaign with you? And which ones are you bringing?
Only brought one, so I have a hot weather one and a cold weather one. Obviously, the indoor one, which is undefeated, that nice brown one, it's too hot. It's just too hot to wear here. So that one's made the whole year undefeated. Maybe I should have just talk about being willing to suffer. Maybe I should have done that and tested out here. So I have my straw hat. It got absolutely destroyed in my bag on the way here today. I noticed it. So it's going to be a wounded, weathered, kind of like all of us coaches. By the time at the end of the season, the hat's going to look just as bad as all the coaches. So maybe it'll be perfect.
Well, only 84 degrees projected on Thursday, and then into the upper 60s on the Saturday and the Sunday if you keep going. So I think you might be all right. Definitely like to thank you for taking the time. Appreciate you. And I know it's tough over there with a little one. So I'm glad that you were able to get on and join us at Tennis One. And obviously, best of luck on Thursday against Kentucky.
Thanks, Mark, and thank you for doing all this and giving these guys all the attention and talking about it and helping all our fans understand all the ins and outs and all the things that go behind the scene from what they see on TV. So thank you so much, and sorry I was late, and thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Thank you so much, Coach, and good luck, and we'll see you in Champaign.
Yes, we'll see you. We're here, so we'll see you.
Oh, well,
soon.
we'll be there too. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Take care.
And
Bye-bye.
Take care. And we'll keep things on the men's side. Obviously, Coach Roditi's team taking out NC State on this past weekend, but a couple other matches were a little bit closer. We had the Michigan versus Texas match, and then of course Baylor versus Stanford, which we had in Crowdview Live with Stanford alum Patrick McEnroe and Mark. Obviously, a great match, Mark. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you would say on the men's side stood out, and just kind of get your analysis on this past weekend.
Yeah, TCU over NC State, pretty standard. Sandra Jung dominated, did a heck of a job there. at winning at number 2 doubles and at 3. At Wake Forest, they take the doubles over Kentucky, but then the top responds back with 3 wins, plus J.J. Mercer, who was on Ohio State's bench and now is a starter making contributions for Kentucky. So that was a great job there. Ohio State and USC. If someone wants to say that that wasn't close, I guarantee you it was tight. It was a nail biter. Ohio State was up 3-1, but there were 3-3-setters going on, and it took, oh my gosh, there's some anger there. It took Jake Van Enberg coming back from 4-1 down in the third set, winning 3 straight no-ad points to basically beat freshman Ryan Colby and clinch it there for the Buckeyes. So that's a great effort. At Michigan, there was a challenge there, a little bit of controversy going on in the Michigan match, but Andrew Finty was able to get the job done. Pierre Bailey comes in there, and there's a little bit of a volley. So there's a bit of a controversy here. Some people didn't like that particular call at that moment, but the bottom line is that Pierre Bailey up 4-1 in the third, loses that point right there at 4-2 no ad to go 4-3 and doesn't win another game, and Fenty seals the deal, while at number 1, Styler and Spazzeri were at 4-3 in the third set breaker. So there could have been some unbelievable, compelling drama there, but Fenty coming back and getting the job done. But clearly that was a challenging issue there with that call and the reaction to it, as you saw there on the graphic. Baylor down 3-1 on our broadcast. Amazing atmosphere. I'd like to thank Patrick McEnroe and Dick Gould for being on the broadcast there. Stanford wins the doubles point and gets some help from Bassing and gets a really, I thought, a pretty good response from a couple of their players, but it comes down to Finn Bass being the hero and beating Rozart in 3 sets. So that was a tough one for Stanford, because Rozart was probably favored to possibly beat Bass. In Tennessee and Florida State, it was pretty routine there. I'd say Adam Walton and Emil Hudd led the way, winning in doubles and singles and contributing to get that job done 4-0 over Florida State. And Virginia and South Carolina, it was dominated by the depth of their lineups at 2 and 3 dubs, and then 4, 5, and 6 with Getz and Gianni Ross and Barb Botzer closing it out with 6-2 in the third victory. The depth of Virginia at the bottom gets it done over South Carolina. And then Florida, they've had a formula that's been working great. Florida winning at 1 and 3 dubs, and then Ben Shelton is just destroying people. I mean, winning 0-1 against Cernak. People may have chosen Shelton to win, but not necessarily a 6-love, 6-1. So Shelton is clicking. The Gators are getting after it, and that is the recap on the men's side of what happened there, and definitely setting the stage for some great quarterfinal action on Thursday in Champaign.
Yeah, definitely. The men's side, very fun to watch. Women's side was as well for the Super Regionals. Mark, are you surprised by the final 8 on the women's side? What are your thoughts on them and how they performed this past weekend?
I thought there was a chance for maybe 2 upsets, maybe. Definitely there was some question about whether or not Stanford was going to beat Oklahoma, I guess, was probably the biggest question. A couple of the other matches were somewhat juicy, but really it was pretty routine on the girls' side. Ultimately, UNC very dominant in doubles, and then all the 2, 4, and 6 players with Crowley, who's just a beast, Scotty and Yarglada getting the job done there. Shout out to Yarglada. She sat on the bench for a couple years and waited her turn, and she has responded really well at 6 and has done an outstanding job winning there. But North Carolina moves on there against Florida team. And Yarglada actually beat Ben Shelton's sister, Emma Shelton, pretty convincingly at 6 in that one. Pepperdine over Miami. The tough thing about Pepperdine is people keep saying they're loaded, and they are. Just go look at the rankings. In Pepperdine's case, the entire team for Pepperdine is ranked in singles. So that's going to be an interesting situation, and they were able to find 3 points after they win doubles no matter what with a lineup like that. Texas and Auburn, pretty good response by Texas, losing a doubles point to a tough SEC team and tested team in Auburn, and a great response with numbers 1, 4, and 5 getting the job done. Stearns leading the way with a quick 1 and 3 victory, and then Zainalova 2 weeks in a row being the clincher for Texas to get it done. In the Virginia-Oklahoma State, it's just always up. It's always nice to be up 2-0. You're winning doubles points, and then Emma Navarro, as number 1 in the nation, is delivering for you. So you're already starting 2-0 every match, and then it's just finding 2. So that's a pretty good situation for Coach Sarah O'Leary there, and we'll see what happens, obviously this Friday with them. Duke over Georgia, very strong performance from the top of the lineup, getting wins with Beck, who had been going up and down a little bit, and Emma Jackson, local Chicago product. Shout out to Emma Jackson getting it done in a close first set and getting it done second. And then Drummy seals the deal. Drummy's a transfer from Vandy that played two and just hits a heavy, big forehand, almost like a Petra Kvitova type of game with Drummy. So they do get it done with doubles in 1, 2, 3. And NC State over Cal. That was a pretty good battle, but NC State's always been reputed for having strong doubles, and there was no difference in this one. They end up, getting the job done in doubles, and then they looked really strong, convincing, winning at 5 and 6 quickly, and then closing out at number 3 singles to get the job done. Texas A&M, also we talked to Coach Weaver. It's a pretty routine win for them. Now, Stoyana, who's been playing 3, it's just been lights out. This is a shot of Branstein who ends up getting the job done, and that's a great effort because she's been not always a guaranteed point at 1. Actually, with Texas A&M, the point that has been knocked down unquestionable is Makarova. Makarova at 2 is just not lost at all, but now Stoyana has had an unbelievable run too. So they have 2 great players clicking at all cylinders at a really key time for them in addition to doubles. So Texas A&M rolls on, and for sure 33-1. I don't know if they're considered an underdog still, but I guess they are at number 7 seed. Interesting to see how they go, because that's a big match against Oklahoma. And then lastly, Oklahoma over Stanford. That's the popcorn match, and they get outstanding doubles play. And then these Corley sisters at 2 and 3 are just stepping up. I've known Ivana and her sister Carmen for a long time. Actually, one of my students that plays at Ohio State played doubles with her juniors, and they got to the semis of the Nationals in San Diego. So I know that family, and I know how good they are competitors, doubles players. But boy, what Coach Audra Cohen is getting out of them, and Staker and a lot of the different players that are battling for them is outstanding. And I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of, there was questions all year long about Oklahoma, and they've done nothing but answer the bell with arguably the toughest draw in Arizona State and Stanford to get to this point.
Well, they battled through, and it'll be really fun to see if there's any drama on the women's side that plays out in Champaign. And Mark, I don't know if people know this, but you've been to 22 NCAA championships in a row. So we wanted to talk to you and pick your brain a little bit on what you think are some of the key components to making an NCAA championship team.
It's crazy. It's since 1998, obviously minus the COVID year, I've seen every championship match and the drama that leads up to it. Roditi hit on it without even seeing my notes. Injury-free, having all hands on deck and everybody available, because you just never know. You really have to have all the group. It's this, everyone's too good all the way down 1 through 6 in singles and doubles to be missing anyone and get the job done. Number 2, I think being battle tested and playing the right schedule. And what I mean by that is this poster board material. I mean that in some instances, for example, if I'm Coach Weaver, I need to tell my girls, hey, everyone's telling you guys you're not that good. And Coach Roditi, hey, everyone's telling you guys you're number 1 seeds and you're not going to make it. Being able to flip the script however you need to. Last year, it was Brian Shelton losing to Tennessee Volunteers in the sectional in the SEC regional championship, obviously, en route to NCAAs, and then Florida being able to take that loss and turn that into motivation and get the job done. Star power, clearly having the Ben Sheltons of the world, the big player, the Emma Navarro. You need those people that you can count on. No different than an NBA basketball game in the fourth quarter. You give the ball to Steph Curry, you give the ball to LeBron, and you back off and let those stars do it. It is a little tricky because sometimes stars, no matter what, in tennis can only give you 1 point, or they can help you with doubles, possibly give you 2. But the hot streaks that we talked about just recently are really important. I think that the doubles points, Noad, just the clutch gene at Noad, being able to handle those situations. Clearly, that was a challenge with Pierre Bailey and Fenty right there, and with Van Enberg playing the freshman Ryan Colby, handling those Noad points were the differences right there in those 2 big matches. And then lastly, dealing with the intangibles, the heat in case there's bad weather. What happens if you go inside? Calling the audibles, pulling someone out, switching. There's definitely some lineup stuff going on a little bit with a couple of these teams in terms of matchups. So just being able to deal with all that, I think collectively is what gets it done. And I'm looking forward to seeing who handles those areas and hoist the titles on Sunday.
Definitely. And starting that off is the quarterfinals on Thursday for the men's side of things. So I wanted to just talk to you and see real quickly to end it off. What if there's any matches on the men's side of things where you think could go either way?
How about all of them? How about TCU has got to deal with the monster gauntlet of Draxel, Diallo, and Hurian at 1, 2, and 3. So even that's going to be really tough at the top to see how well TCU stacks up with UK's formidable top three. Baylor, I think, battling Tennessee. Tennessee is really tough, clearly with doubles and NCAA champion doubles teams, and Johannes Monday at 2, and Missouri at 4. It's clearly Tennessee's got some great points. Baylor's got some good points. That's going to be up for grabs. Ohio State, Michigan, number 4. 2-1 edge to Michigan, and now here they go for a 4th one on a neutral court. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm going to get some Black Dog barbecue and be sitting there with burnt ends, waiting to watch what happens there for sure. Lots of fireworks at 7 o'clock at night on Thursday night. And Florida, Virginia, I'd say Florida for sure probably has a little bit of an edge there, but Coach Pedroso's done such an outstanding job, and he has a lot of great players that are willing to battle tooth and nail. And so I'd say Florida's probably maybe the one that's a more prohibitive favorite in that one, but I don't want to disrespect what Coach Pedroso's done in the ACC. And just looking at it, there's 3 SEC, 2 Big 10, 2 Big 12, and 1 ACC in this tournament. And I think that's great representation in the quarters.
Yeah, really looking forward to that Big Ten battle for sure. Taking a look at the women's side of things. What about them?
Well, I mentioned it before. UNC actually has had all of these years where they don't lose in the regular season and they get clipped actually at the tournament. So maybe this year, Coach Kelb's losing. Kelb's losing a couple of matches to Duke and to Virginia. Maybe that's going to help him to be able to handle the punches in the stomach, because I'm telling you, Pepperdine's going to throw haymakers at him with this lineup all the way down with 10 and Czar and Brodus. And I mean, from 1 to 6, it's really, really rough. So that's going to be one heck of a match, especially if Pepperdine somehow steals a doubles point with that. So that's going to be an outstanding opportunity. We'll see what happens there. Texas is catching its form at the right time. And who is not going to be looking at Stearns versus Navarro at number 1 there? Duke and NC State, I think that there's for sure, there's this Tobacco Row pride. And I think NC State, Coach Simon, is so tired of not being considered the N team. And now Duke has come on late here, where NC State's been pretty much at the top of the heap last year and this year. I think for sure NC State wants to send a message to Duke here in this one. And then A&M obviously battling Oklahoma. I just can't wait, because I think Oklahoma has really proven that they're defending this number 2 seed. But what can you say about Texas A&M with 33-1 record?
Yeah, a jam-packed quarterfinals that we have to look forward to. And this is the end of Road to Champaign, because we're going. Champagne's in 2 days. We're so excited to continue to bring you this coverage here in the TennisONE app. Mark will be there. I'll be there along with Laura here on behalf of TennisONE. We're super excited to bring you all of the interviews and everything we can, just really give you a exclusive insight to all things NCAA tennis. So I wanted to thank everybody for joining us on this Road to Champaign journey. Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to co-host alongside you. Your expertise is simply unmatched in the college tennis world. So thank you very much.
Madison, thank you so much for having me. And as I always say each and every week, Madison for president.
Madison for president. We got tennis ball yellow nails, you guys. We're ready for Champaign, okay? Mark loves my nail color. He's going to spot me a mile away there. So we're ready. And thank you again, everybody, for joining us, as always, and to the 2 coaches and everyone who's been a part of this show. That concludes it. The Road to Champaign is over, and we are so excited to bring you all the coverage for the NCAAs. Thank you, everyone.